Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 2 minutes from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 2-minute time check, stations. Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 1 minute from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 1-minute time check, stations.
On the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Thomas Jones, long Judy, he's got it, touchdown Alabama! Oh my goodness, 85 yards on the first play.
This is the Alabama Athletics Spring Update Show.
JP eyes the basket, drives down the left of the rim, and he threw it home. Oh, mercy, what a flush right there.
The Alabama Athletics Spring Update Show is presented by Alpha Insurance. For auto, home, and life insurance, call Alpha.
Oh, this one's blasted by Sam Prater, and it is gone.
Now, here is the voice of the Tide, Eli Gold.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. Welcome into a show that, well, we hadn't really planned on doing a number of months ago, but in light of how things are going in the world today, instead of the A-Day game from Bryant-Denny Stadium, here we are together with the University of Alabama Athletics Spring Update Show. I'm Eli Gold, thrilled to be along with you. Boy, it's nice to be able to sit down and talk to you folks and hear from you and share some thoughts. We've got a busy program for you today. In just a couple of moments, our Director of Athletics at the University of Alabama, Greg Byrne, is going to be joining us, and he'll be taking your phone calls. The phones will be open today. Same number that we've always used for years and years. It's toll-free, 877-202-BAMA. 877-202-BAMA. Greg Byrne is going to be here. Then baseball coach Brad Bohannon. Boy, I'll tell you, they got out of the box 14-0. They were 16-1 when the season was suspended. Coach Bo is going to be joining us. Then my broadcast partners, John Parker Wilson and Rashad Johnson. We'll talk to them, see how their lives are going. We'll probably touch base a bit up on Thursday night's draft coming up. You know, the NFL draft is Thursday. We'll discuss Bama football in general. That's John Parker Wilson and Rashad Johnson. And then Coach Nick Saban is going to be with us as well. So it is a busy 2 hours, and we're thrilled to have you along. Again, the phone line's open toll-free at 877-202-BAMA. That's 877-202-BAMA. Today's Spring Update Show is presented by Alpha Insurance. For auto, home, and life insurance, call Alpha. When we come back, Bama's Director of Athletics, Greg Byrne, he'll be taking your phone calls right after these messages here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield, IMG College.
Get power to spare with a Honda generator for the ultimate tailgate experience. Honda gives you economical, portable power when and where it's needed most. It's perfect for powering a TV, crock pot, blender, or a variety of other party favors. And best of all, these gasoline-powered generators all have easy-starting, dependable Honda engines. We'll get the party started and keep it going. Get turned on to a reliable Honda generator. It's perfect for the ultimate tailgate experience.
In baseball, home runs are a good thing. But when it comes to your fields and forests, you don't want unwanted, invasive weeds scoring a run. Did you know that Kogan grass is stealing bases all across our state? Thief! We must protect Alabama's environment so that our kids and grandkids can enjoy it. Help us strike out Kogan grass. You're out! Learn more at kogangrass.org. Presented by the Alabama Forestry Commission and the Alabama Department of Agriculture and Industries.
Baumhauer's Victory Grill is open with a new pick-me-up menu for online ordering. It's easy to schedule your pickup at your nearest location on Baumhauers.com, where the pick-me-up menu has items up to 50% off with family meals as low as $5 per person, gooey fries, black and white chicken, even our legendary wings. And don't miss our new Gabby's Just Wing It drive-thru, featuring our wings and fries combos at legendary prices. Baumhauer's Victory Grill, legendary fun, legendary food.
Suddenly, everything has changed, but one thing hasn't. BBVA USA's commitment to your financial needs. Our bank is with you. With our app, you can do most of your banking right from your phone. Transfer balances, pay bills, deposit checks. Stay home, stay safe, and as you take care of what matters most in your life, know that BBVA is with you. For more banking information, visit bbvausa.com.
I'm Cliff Meidel, two-time Olympic athlete in the sport of sprint kayaking. In 1986, my life changed forever when I struck 3 buried high-voltage cables while working on an excavation site. 30,000 volts of electricity blew through my body. I'm lucky to be alive and able to walk again. Accidents like mine can be avoided with a simple call to 811.
Accidents can happen to anyone. Know what's below. Always call 811 before digging. Brought to you by Alabama 811.
Welcome back, everybody, as we continue on the 2020 Alabama Athletics Spring Update Show. I'm Eli Gold, and again, great to be with you. I hadn't planned to be sitting here chatting with you in the plush but not overly ostentatious studio, and we were hoping to be able to bring you the A-Day game today, of course, a sneak peek at next season's football team. But in light of how things have been going in the world today, we punted our plans just a bit and put together this Alabama Athletics Spring Update Show, and we're thrilled to be able to open the program with our Director of Athletics, Greg Byrne. Hello, Greg. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you, Eli?
I am well. How are things? The family healthy, I would assume?
Yeah, everybody's healthy. Our boys are, Nicholas is over in Starkville and Davis is in Tucson, and we're keeping track of them from afar, and they're doing about as well as you could hope for with everything going on. But we're adjusting to the world we're in right now and trying to make the best of it, support our student athletes, our coaches, and our staff, and then communicate with our fans, too. So I appreciate you doing this today, Eli.
Sure. Glad to do it. And, folks, if you want to join the conversation, 877-202-BAMA, a toll-free number, same number we've used for I don't know how many decades now, 877-202-BAMA. Greg, the more telling question is Regina tired of you hanging around the house yet?
Yeah, she's probably had about enough of me. It's been nice to spend the time together because obviously we don't get to do that a whole lot, especially this time of year during the spring, because the spring season is actually our busiest time of year with obviously with baseball and softball and track and tennis programs and golf programs going on top of that with all of our meetings that we tend to have. in the spring season. So it's very different to look at the calendar and all of a sudden be home every single night. But we're doing our best to stay in contact with everybody through this. We had a head coaches meeting yesterday via Zoom, and we're going to do an all staff meeting here in the next short while too that we're planning on. So there's plenty to do to keep you busy during the day, but it's certainly a different world than what we're used to.
Yeah. In this abnormal time, what is a so-called normal day like for you? You roll out of bed, and is it right on the telephone? Does the phone ever stop ringing throughout the day?
Yeah, no, I'm on the phone or a Zoom call most of the day right now. We have at SECADs, we've been meeting almost every day via teleconference and talking about all the issues that are going on. For the front end of it, we were very focused on just, the well-being of our student athletes, making sure they were being taken care of from a academic standpoint, from a mental health standpoint, and then at the same time too, what can we do to support them, because they're all very driven athletically, and we're now we can do. It's going to start 8 hours a week next week, except for us. We're going to be in dead week, so we cannot use the 8 hours during that time. But back in the first of May, we'll be able to have up to 8 hours in every sport of kind of chalk talk,
right?
Not watching them do workouts or anything, but the opportunity for them to see and interact with the coaches and talk about their sport. On top of that, they've also have been able to stay in contact on a limited amount, just checking on their well-being wherever the student athletes may be. And I've been proud of the job that our coaches have been doing to do that. But I've been, I've been part of that. I've been trying to call our student athletic advisory committee members and talk to them and engage with them and have some one-on-one conversations with our coaches as well. And then obviously a lot of national items that we're dealing with, whether it's the NCAA and the football oversight or the SEC, or there's been some calls that I've had with some of my peers, both within the SEC and, there's a few other similar institutions that we stay in regular contact with the ADs who I happen to be close with, and that's been able to kind of share and talk about best practices. So
sure.
My nights have been free, but my days have been full.
I hear you. One thing that is normal in this abnormal setting that we're in right now, one thing it can guarantee is that when you have a talk show, the first call of the day is going to be coming from Pee Wee in Grand Bay, Alabama. That's the guaranteed. And Pee Wee is on the phone with us. Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well, Eli. How are you, sir?
I am fine. Happy to be sitting here and talking to everybody today.
Mr. Bryan, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good, Pee Wee. Good to hear your voice, and I'm glad you keep up your track record of being the front of the line. You do a great job of that, and I appreciate it.
Well, yes, sir. I appreciate that. I was just wondering, and everybody has been kind of mulling around, season ticket money is due for football in just a little over a month. If for some reason football either does not get played or gets pushed back, how would all of that work out as far as us as season ticket holders? Would we get refunds? Would it be held like in escrow till next year? How would that work?
Yeah, good question, Pee Wee. And obviously we appreciate your longstanding support as well as all of our other fans, and certainly hope that people can renew their season tickets, because we're obviously very hopeful to have a fall season. And hopefully we can have what we're doing right now to put us in the best possible position for that. And so I think you saw in how we handled our baseball and softball season tickets that we did offer refunds, and I think what we probably would end up doing is potentially an opportunity to carry it over for the next football season. We haven't finalized that for sure, but I will tell you we will work with each individual ticket holder, and if refunds are needed, we will definitely have that opportunity, so people can go ahead and renew their season tickets and know that if there's not a season, that the season tickets will obviously have the opportunity to be refunded if it comes to that. But we're obviously hopeful that it doesn't come to that, and that we get to play a fall season. And I know our coaches, no matter the sport, whether it's football or volleyball our women's soccer team. Everybody's very anxious and eager to have a chance to be able to play.
Indeed so. Pee Wee, thank you for your call, sir. We're coming back. We've got a lot more time with Greg Byrne, our Director of Athletics at the university. If you'd like to call in, the phones are open. 877-202-BAMA. That's 877-202-BAMA. You're listening to the Alabama Athletics Spring Update Show on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield, IMG College.
Listen and imagine. It takes 5 seconds to send a text, and for those 5 seconds, you're driving blind. Life is worth more than a text. Stay alive. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Everybody buckle up. Mom. Buckle up.
Let's go.
Buckle up.
Can we go to the store?
Mom, can we get some
ice cream?
Everybody, buckle up.
A lot goes on in the car, but you're in control. So only move when you hear the click that says they're buckled in. Never give up until they buckle up. Learn more at safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school, so I'm trying to break that barrier. My daughter, Brooklyn, was also a motivation for me to go back to school. Every day after work, went straight to school, and it paid off.
At age 26, Kareem finished his high school diploma.
I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Welcome back, everybody. The Alabama Athletics Spring Update Show being presented by Alpha Insurance. Visit alphainsurance.com to find a local agent for auto, home, and life insurance. Call Alpha. Eli Gold with Director of Athletics Greg Byrne. Greg, you mentioned before the break that of the many conference calls that you have, some are conference related and some are on national issues. The NCAA, as we know, has granted spring sports athletes whose seasons were canceled an additional year of eligibility, but left the decision on exactly how to implement it up to the schools. Wisconsin's athletic director, Barry Alvarez, the other day announced that their 35 seniors from the spring sports would not be invited back for next year. And I'm not going to ask you to comment on Wisconsin's decision because, quite frankly, that's none of our business. But I will ask you your thoughts on how Alabama is going to best deal with this new NCAA directive.
Yeah, so we were obviously pleased to have the seniors who lost their spring year of eligibility to be able to come back. And I know a few of our sports, for instance, like our softball program, is going to have everybody come back, invite them back. There are some from some of our other programs who have already graduated and probably will not be coming back and being a part of it, which, you know, they certainly, that's certainly understandable. They're ready to go on with the next part of their life. There's others that maybe haven't graduated yet, so we want to make sure we get them back and have them have the opportunity to make sure they get their diploma. And then, and at the same time, have them compete in their sport as part of that in that process. So we're kind of taking it team by team and individual by individual on what's the best path for them. And so we've been communicating with our coaches on how best to manage it. The thing that's kind of interesting, though, is for this coming year, you're going to have some flexibility from a scholarship standpoint and roster standpoint of how many kids you have. But if it's going to, it could potentially create some multi-year issues if for instance, one of the sport decides to, they want to be able to be here another 3 more additional years, and how that impacts you.
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
It was actually pretty confusing. I had to have a sit down with our compliance director, Matt Self, and have him better explain it to me, because even I was confused about how it all works. So we're getting our arms around what all that means, and we're looking forward to having a number of them back here next year.
Cool. I appreciate the update. Let's talk about goings-on at the stadium. I laughingly said to somebody, I said the building crane has become the official state bird in Tuscaloosa. There's always something going on. How are the updates coming at Bryant-Denny Stadium?
Well, things are going well. The governor has allowed construction to continue in our state, and I know that's good for those employees in the construction business, so they can continue to get paid during this time. And obviously, we're certainly encouraging our contractors that we're working with to practice social distancing and making it be as safe as it possibly can. But I actually drove by the stadium earlier in the week and had it was amazing to see the progress that's being made, and it's exciting to see as well as with Malmore. And so I was, it's going to be very exciting for our program when all these things get done. I think it's going to make a tremendous impact for our student athletes. It's going to have a tremendous impact on our fans, and to be able to continue to recruit at the levels that we want to. So we've been very pleased with the progress. It's obviously happening under different and unique circumstances of what we've been used to, but it's really going to make a very positive impact on the game day experience for our fans at Bryant-Denny Stadium.
The other elements, zeroing in for the moment on football, of the Crimson Standard, the new seating, etc. Last I saw, the seats were flying out the door, if no pun intended. The response seems to be very positive, huh?
It's been really good. It's been we've sold all but 2 of our skyboxes. We've sold all the Founder Suites. We've sold all the entry-level suites, and we also have 2 of our East Premium boxes still left, but we've got some conversations that are going on. Our Terrace Club seats have all sold. Our Lowe's boxes seats have all sold. And then we're about at 70% on our Champions Club seats. And so the people have really have bought in, and it's exciting to see. It's, obviously the first time in a long time that Alabama fans have had the opportunity to have seating on the west side. And so they're taking advantage of that. And it's been, a lot of people have asked me who are buying those seats, and it's longtime Alabama families and longtime Alabama fans, and it's exciting to see them have this opportunity. So that's going to be good, and the revenues from this give us this opportunity to reinvest in our football program, our softball program, what we've got in the works, hopefully, for our golf programs and many of our other programs too, to allow us to reinvest in our success. And that's such an important part of what you do.
Sure.
One of the worst things we could do as a department is just sit here and say idly, well, we're Alabama, we're going to be just fine and don't need to continue to reinvest. But that's not accurate. Programs over the years have gotten in trouble or challenged when they haven't tried to reinvest in the success that they have. And so that's what we tried to do with the Crimson Standard, and create a long-term vision to get people engaged and involved, and we've been very fortunate for the generosity of our supporters to allow us to move forward on a lot of these projects.
Well, we've always said there's nothing like a Bama fan. I want to follow up more on the Crimson Standard, but most importantly, we're all here to talk to the fans today, and we've got a listener on in Chicago. Grisan is on in Chicago. Welcome in. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing, Greg? This is Griffin.
Oh, Griffin, I'm sorry. I got the name wrong.
It's all good.
All right.
My question, Greg, was once the season obviously ended for all the spring sports, how hard did you have to lobby to keep the softball and women's tennis championships to stay in Tuscaloosa for the next year?
Yeah. Hi, Griffin. Good question. I hope your family's healthy and safe. It was actually, we brought up our opinion that we feel like we should be able to host the SEC championship the next year, since we had lost out on it, and both for women's tennis and obviously softball. And it actually happened pretty easily. There was a lot of support from everybody in the SEC that said, hey, that makes sense. Everybody geared up to host this year. It's good for the local universities and communities. And so it was really a pretty easy decision. There was not much debate amongst the ADs when we were discussing it. And I'm very pleased. And I look forward to this coming spring when we get to host those events, just like I know we're all looking forward to getting a chance to get back on campus and have our sporting events, hopefully in the fall, and just the way that'll bring people together. So that'll obviously be a highlight next year when we get to host the SECs.
How's the Rhodes House looking with all, and Griffin, thank you for your call. How's the Rhodes House looking with all of their updates over the last few months?
Well, it looks great. I was able to go to a few games early in the season.
Right.
And it was a lot of fans were already congregating on the new third base patio.
Sure.
First baseline patio, and new concessions and new restrooms over there. I was with the team when they got to see the clubhouse for the first time, and Coach Murphy's done such an incredible job, and the kids were thrilled. And Eli, because you get to be around our student athletes. I mean, they're such great kids. They're such remarkable athletes, obviously, to do what they do. We're all guilty sometimes of forgetting that they're just kids, and because of what they physically can do at such a young age. But it's so much fun to be around them, and I know we're all going to be very much looking forward to have a chance, whether you're around them on a daily basis, maybe like you and I are, or whether you're going to be in the stands cheering them on in the future, and it'll be a lot of fun when that happens.
And these kids, as great as they are, gosh, they are so respectful. I mean, it's Eli. It's never just Eli. It's either Mr. Eli or it's Mr. Gold or whatever. It's and I know you get the same thing. It's these kids have been brought up so very well. They really have.
They have, yeah. No, they're very polite and one of the things I talk about regularly, Eli, one of the things I most enjoy about what we get to do is we get to bring people together. We get to bring people together, and we check our political differences at the door. We check our socioeconomic differences at the door. And,
exactly.
Come together from a diverse, race standpoint, diversity, and we all celebrate the Alabama Crimson Tide. And that's what sports does across our country, even across our world. And it's I know in people I'm talking to on a daily basis, out of the things they miss, obviously miss being able to be around our friends who aren't, right there with us on a daily basis, or family. But at the same time, too, we miss those community activities like what sports is. And I'm bullish that when all this comes to an end and we have a chance to come back together safely, I think we will not miss a beat, and in fact, I think we'll come back with renewed enthusiasm.
I agree. And folks, there's so much still going on campus behind the scenes, the construction and so on. If you want to keep up with everything Alabama, you can do it with the new Roll Tide mobile app. It's presented by Bancorp South, and it's available at the App Store and Google Play. So download the Roll Tide mobile app now. It is absolutely free. More coming up with Greg Byrne. More of your calls if you'd like to join us. 877-202-BAMA. 877-202-BAMA. That's the phone number here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
With over 9,000 apartments across the Crimson Tide radio network, Sealy Realty has the next home for you. Start your apartment search at SealyRealty.com. Browse community data, view hundreds of photos, or take a virtual tour. Because you're not just looking for an apartment, you're looking for a home. SealyRealty.com. Welcome home and roll Tide.
As diehard Alabama fans, we know a thing or two about winning. So does ATI Physical Therapy, with successful outcomes and excellent customer service. We raise the bar for getting the best results for our patients. So click or call today to see a therapist within 24 to 48 hours. Let the official physical therapy provider of the Crimson Tide help you get back to being you. Visit ATIPT.com/Bama to find a location near you. Built by Bama, rebuilt by ATI Physical Therapy.
Golden Triangle Regional Airport in Columbus, Mississippi is proud to be a partner with University of Alabama Athletics. During this trying time, we hope Crimson Tide fans are following proper social distancing protocol to ensure a return to normal activities very soon. When the time comes and it's safe to travel again, we hope you'll consider Golden Triangle Regional Airport as your hub to access the world. For more information, check us out at gtra.com. Stay healthy and roll Tide.
That's the sound of rush hour. Hello, recess.
Mom!
Work from home is a lot of work. Even though we're a little further apart right now, we're still in this together. Regions is donating this ad to local food banks to shine a light on them as they feed our neighbors in need. Learn how you can help or get help at regions.com/foodbank. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
Everwood Treatment Company is wood treated right. Everwood is the most technologically advanced pressure treated wood available. That means no rotting, no decay, no problems. Just wood treated right. Everwood is your treated wood source and the official pressure treated lumber of the Alabama Crimson Tide. If you're looking to add or replace decks, outdoor structures, or commercial jobs, choose Everwood for wood treated right. If you need it, we'll get it to you. To locate your local Everwood store, visit everwoodtreatment.com. Everwood Treatment, official lumber of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Welcome back, everybody. We continue on the Alabama Athletics Spring Update Show. I'm Eli Gold, visiting with Greg Byrne, Bama's Director of Athletics. Greg, after you step aside here in a bit, Brad Bohannon is going to be joining us, the head baseball coach. You know, you feel for everybody in this whole mess that's been going on with all the seasons being canceled. But a guy who starts 14-0, his team was 16-1 at the time of the season's suspension. I'm looking forward to chatting with him again, but boy, you got to feel for him. They were en route to apparently a spectacular season.
Yeah, it was fun to see, and Brad has done an absolutely incredible job with our baseball program and took over a very challenging situation 3 years ago. And to see the team playing the way they were, you know, having a lot of fun playing baseball, but at the same time, too, executing at the level that they were.
Yeah.
You know, I know that weekend we were going to host our first SEC home series against Missouri, and I don't know how many we would have had out there, but I got to imagine we would have had probably, you know, over 5,000-6,000 people, and that's because of the great job that he's done. And he's a recruiting machine. I tell him every time I fly through the Charlotte airport or going in and out of Birmingham or wherever I may be, I'm going to run into him about half the time because he is always out there recruiting whenever he can. You're seeing the results of that. And on top of that, he's so smart and you know, has a great staff of people around him, and it's just a really good human being. So I know our baseball future is very bright, and one of the favorite things I've been fortunate to be able to do in my career is, you know, when I was at Arizona, we won the national championship in baseball in 2012 in Omaha, and lost on the last play of the game at 16. And you know, Omaha is one of those special events in college sports, and I'm looking forward to having an opportunity here in the future for all Alabama fans to take over Omaha and be there to support our baseball team, just like we've done in softball and we have in the past, we know, in baseball. And let's get on back there. It'll be special when we do.
You know, everything is looking up right now. I just saw where the recruiting class for Nate Oates was ranked number 16 in America by Scout.com. I saw that Christy Curry's women's basketball recruiting class was raising a lot of eyebrows, some outstanding young ladies. Looks like hoops and on both sides, men and women, really starting to get to where we want it to be and where we've seen it in the past.
Yeah, Christy just signed a good class. And, you know, we were knocking on the door of the NCAA tournament this year for the first time in a long time. So that's obviously an expectation that we have. And I know they've been out recruiting hard to get another good class signed, but then the job that Nate and his staff have done, really scouring North America to find the right guys for the program. And that's one of the things, and you're seeing with Brad Bohannon and the baseball team too, we should be able to recruit nationally at Alabama because of the brand that we are. Obviously, we want our bread and butter to be local kids in the state of Alabama, but you're gonna get those when you can. I don't think the men's basketball class this past year was quite as strong as maybe some other years, and so we went more throughout the country. We went a little more international. I mean, just like a Shackelford last year on our basketball team. He was a California kid that I don't think was that highly recruited out west. And, he came in here and made a heck of a difference. And so that's why it's so important that your coaching staff is great at evaluation. They're out there on the road whenever they can. I've really been impressed with the effort they're putting in on a daily basis with our basketball program from a recruiting standpoint. And I think you're seeing some of the results of that as well. And that's an exciting brand of ball. And again, just like everything else we've been talking about, I can't wait till we get a chance to get back to Coleman Coliseum and watch both of those teams play.
Looking forward to it, and it can't happen soon enough. We're going to come right back a final few moments with our Director of Athletics, Greg Byrne. If you have a question, now's the time to throw it at us, 877-202-BAMA. And then in just a few moments from now, baseball coach Brad Bohannon will be here. This is the Alabama Athletics Spring Update Show on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Hey Tide fans, it's time to watch the Alabama Crimson Tide roll. Whether you watch from home, at your tailgate, or in the stadium, you can enjoy the great taste of Ziegler Jumbo Franks, the official hot dog of the Crimson Tide. Alabama has a tradition of winning, and Ziegler has a tradition of great taste. Enjoy your Ziegler Jumbo Franks at home, at the tailgate, and now at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Ziegler Meats, a tradition of great taste for over 90 years. Pick them up at your local supermarket.
To make shopping for a vehicle safer for you and our staff, at Mercedes-Benz of Tuscaloosa, we're offering limited contact purchasing. Shop our inventory and apply for financing online. And in the interest of everyone's safety, before you take a test drive, we'll disinfect the vehicle's touch points while you watch. And to maintain distance, your sales professional will ride along in the back seat. Let's skip the handshake for now and be safe. Together, we can drive down the curve. Start your vehicle purchase online at mercedesoftuscaloosa.com.
I love providing for my teenager. When she's got a question, I'm there. When she needs some cash to pick up lunch with her friends, she knows she can count on me. But I won't always be in the next room. And because I love her, I want to teach her financial responsibility. That's why together we opened a Squad student banking account. No hidden fees, low balance alerts, easy money transfers. It's perfect, just like her. Learn how Trustmark can help you leave your mark at trustmark.com. Member FDIC.
What happens when a healthcare system truly listens? Healing happens. Hope happens. Good health happens. At Ascension, we know. Because we listen to you, to better understand you. Then, our network of doctors, nurses, and care teams at St. Vincent's Health System deliver a personalized healthcare experience that's right for you and your family. Find the care you need at ascension.org/Alabama.
Welcome back, everybody. Continuing with Greg Byrne, Director of Athletics at the University of Alabama. This show continues until 3 o'clock Central Time. We're glad you're with us, and our phone lines are open. Greg, let me peek behind the curtain, if I could, at your job. You have been intimately involved with many collegiate programs, be they where your dad worked initially at Oregon and Nebraska and A&M, but yourself, Kentucky and Oregon State and Arizona and Mississippi State. How does Alabama, without giving away any proprietary info here, how does Alabama operationally differ from those other schools?
Well, each place is great in their own way, and everybody has their strengths, and every place has their challenges. But I think what separates us here at Alabama is the passion, the loyalty of our fan base, not only throughout the state of Alabama, but throughout the Southeast, throughout the country. And the support that we have, when I tell people we usually lead the country in softball attendance, they're surprised by that because, they know that we've had good success in softball, obviously. But when they see that and realize, hey, it doesn't matter what we do, no matter what we're competing, our fan base, our supporters want to see us have success. And that creates a very high bar for everybody to be a part of, but that's what you want to be a part of. And one of the things I always talk about is you're going to keep scoring, you might as well try to win. we're all smarter and better looking when we win. I need all the help I can get with both those things, and so it's something that we take great pride in as an institution, and everybody else out there does too. But it's just the sheer numbers and supporters that we have that really gives us such a great opportunity to have success here at Alabama.
And that includes this show being heard all across the country. And Tara is in Bloomington, Minnesota, listening in this afternoon. Hello, Tara. How are you?
I am great, Leon. Are you Eli Go?
That is me.
I am great, Eli Go. How about you, sir?
Doing very well. I'm glad you called in. Do you have a question for Greg Byrne?
Yeah, I'm wondering when tennis comes back to normal, what radio station I could hear it on, because I care about every college sport of the Crimson Tide, even volleyball, I don't know what station, and even soccer, I don't know what radio station. Can you please help me with those?
Sure. Well, the radio coverage for those particular sports really is not a regular offering right now.
Okay.
But tennis and soccer and volleyball are often available on SEC Network Plus, which you can get through the ESPN app, and that's a great way to keep tabs on that. You can also listen to all of the radio shows that we have here on the network, whether it's the Hey Coach show, any of the programs, because we're always talking about all of the other teams. Everybody on campus will have coaches on from every program on a Thursday night when preceding Coach Saban. We'll talk the rowing team, we'll talk tennis, we'll talk track and field. So the best thing to do is to just tune in to the Crimson Tide Sports Network, and you can get all that information online at rolltide.com, and you'll be all set to keep tabs on exactly what's going on, because we value every program. As Greg Byrne was saying, we value every program. And again, check the ESPN app for the SEC Network Plus. There'll be a plus sign next to it, and there's many, many games from all different teams on campus that are covered by that network. So thank you for calling in from Bloomington, Minnesota. And one final question for Greg Byrne. It comes from Jason in Valley, Alabama. Hello, Jason. Welcome in.
How you doing, Eli?
Great. Thank you, sir.
Hey, and I may have missed this. You guys may have talked about it, but everything. This COVID-19 has everything pushed back, and I just wanted to know: is there a plan in place in football? How everything? We missed spring. Is there a plan in place for the team to kind of catch up? And are we looking at playing a later season?
Yeah, hi, Jason. Hope you're safe and healthy, and thanks for asking the question. We have already had some discussions about return to play when that time comes, what that can look like. Right now, as much as we want to have a crystal ball when that will be, we really don't know. But we are talking about different potential scenarios for the summer and for the fall, and we're looking forward to getting the chance to implement those when we know it's safe and healthy to do so. And I'm very optimistic that we can find a way to. Our country's done such a good job of uniting on this thing that I'm very optimistic that we can continue to do that and find a way to get to the fall and get a chance for everybody to get back together and celebrate the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Amen to that. And as we were saying, regardless of what the new normal looks like, Crimson Tide Athletics and this Crimson Tide Sports Network will certainly always be here for you. So we'll let you know about new programming and ways that we are keeping in touch with all of you folks as we work through this unusual time in our nation. Greg Byrne, thank you so much for your time. I know you've been so busy, and to carve out 40 minutes for our listeners on a Saturday, we really do appreciate it.
Thanks, Neil. I appreciate you having me on. Thanks for doing this broadcast for our fans everywhere. Good to hear we're getting callers from all across the country.
Exactly. You take care.
Roll Tide, everybody. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
All right, Greg Byrne, Director of Athletics here at the university. Coming up in a moment, Brad Bohannon, baseball coach, following these messages on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. You out-salesmaned the salesman. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll have the info you need to get more for your future. Go to aceyourretirement.org, because when it comes to speeding past financial challenges, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
GTG, BRB, OMW, be there in a few. You may think that these kinds of texts are fine because of their length, and you can easily send them at a stoplight. But no, answering one text can take your attention away from the road for 5 seconds. And traveling at 55 miles an hour, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Make good decisions. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Hey everyone, let's all stop what we're doing and take a moment. You see? Every moment can be kind of special. But they could be loud moments, goofy moments, dorky moments, it doesn't matter. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hello, it's me, the designer jeans in the back of your closet. What happened to us? I used to summer in the Hamptons, and now I'm stuck behind a pair of sweats. Okay, maybe I never really fit you right, but I got a lot more Sunday fun days left in me. So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Welcome back, everybody. Glad you're with us on this Saturday on our 2020 Alabama Athletics Spring Update Show. I'm Eli Gold. Coming up later on, we've got John Parker Wilson and Rashad Johnson. Of course, Coach Nick Saban will be joining us later on the program. But right now, a pleasure to be joined by the head baseball coach at the University of Alabama, who I know, like all of us, would be much happier sitting around the dugout and hanging behind the batting cage. But not to be. Brad Bohannon is with us. Coach, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, Eli. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you with us. How are you doing? How's the family? Is your wife tired of you yet from hanging around the house? How's it going?
I'm going to take the Fifth Amendment on that question. But, like everyone, I'm just very thankful to be healthy and whatnot. I've enjoyed the time with my wife and certainly been able to do some other things that I wouldn't normally be doing this time of year, but would much rather be on the field and in the dugout with our guys.
Yeah. What is a normal day like for you? I know we have read in the papers about Coach Saban and what he does on a normal day. How about in the baseball world? What's a normal day like for you now?
Well, every day's a little different. I think we've all learned how much we can do remotely. There's phone conversations and then all of the online apps, the Zoom and the Microsoft Teams and all that. So really just trying to focus on supporting our kids, academically and emotionally, and also trying to do a little more recruiting, than we would normally this time of year.
Do you have the same available hours to work with the kids in a virtual reality setting? Do you have 4 hours of meeting time each week and so on?
We do, but we're actually not even taking advantage of that right now. We've given the kids workouts, but, we're not sure what we're trying to ramp them up towards right now. Are they going to be able to play baseball this summer, or do they need to be, ready to go in August, or is it even later? So, really we're just trying to focus on finishing the semester strong academically and really want our kids just to, as best they can, to stay active and to spend this time attacking the weight room and less time on baseball right now.
Visiting with Brad Bohannon, the head baseball coach for the Crimson Tide. You're tuned into the Alabama Athletics Spring Update radio show. I'm Eli Gold. Glad to be with you. This whole thing has been so sad, obviously. The world has changed. But from a zeroing in under the microscope at your world, starting 14-0, 16-1 at the time of the suspension of the season, I mean, you guys were potentially looking at an absolutely spectacular, very special year. That really hurt, didn't it?
It did, Eli. And, it wasn't just about that first 17 games. This is a 2.5-year process that we've, been in the middle of rebuilding our program. And for it to come to a screeching halt was tough. And, now that we've had more time and, you realize that there are people dying, there are people losing their jobs, it really puts everything into perspective. But, I was just so pleased with how fast our team had grown up and matured, and we were really playing well in all three areas of the game. We were pitching at a high level and playing great defense and getting offensive production up and down the lineup. And just so disappointing for our kids that they didn't get to show the whole college baseball world just how much we had grown and how good we were.
Yeah, we'll break down the elements of the ball club here in a bit, but let's go back. You touched on this project, obviously started 3 years ago. When you first got here, when you walked in and sat down behind that desk for the first time, what was your master plan looking like, and how much has the reality gone according to that master plan on paper?
Well, it certainly hasn't been a straight line. There's been a lot of ups and downs, and certainly plenty of things that I would have done differently. But, from day one, it was just all about, recruiting at a really high level, coach your players really well, and create a really positive team culture and environment. And, there are a lot of other responsibilities of taking over a program and rebuilding in the Southeastern Conference. And I just tried really hard at every point in time just to remember that it's all about recruit and develop and your team culture, and everything we've done has been trying to improve in those three areas.
Yeah, I'll give you total permission here to pat yourself on the back. Why are you such a great recruiter? Whether it was at Kentucky, whether it was at Auburn, now here at Alabama, what separates a good recruiter, of which there are many in America, from the great recruiters, of which there are far fewer? What makes you one of the great recruiters?
Eli, that's probably a better question for maybe the kids that I've recruited or coached. I would say this, looking back, I was so thankful for my opportunity at Kentucky. When we got there, the program was just so far behind the rest of the league in every way, shape, and form. And, Kentucky's a really rural state, so I had to get creative, and I had to recruit from all over the country. And the network that I built during my time there out of necessity has really benefited me now. You look at our freshman class, and, Connor Prelude would pitch for anybody in America. He's from Wisconsin, and I recruited him through a connection that I made at Kentucky. Antoine Jean from Montreal, Owen Diodati from Canada. Mm-hmm. Those two kids, they would play for any school in the country, and I was able to get those kids and develop relationships through people that I'd met during my time at Kentucky.
Very interesting. Like I said, it's there are some guys recruit because they have to. Some coaches recruit because they love to, and it seems as though you fall into that into both categories. You have to do it, but you love when you do and you succeed. And that brings us to this coming season, whenever the season is played, hopefully on time. We all know about the NCAA granting spring sports athletes whose season was shortened, that extra year of eligibility. And you have a number of seniors from last year's team. And I'm not going to get into all the details yet as to how this whole thing will work. But from a strict filling out the lineup card standpoint, having potentially so many extra players, how do you deal with that? How do you keep the seniors, the existing seniors, happy? How do you tell the kids who would have been seniors who may not get all the playing time that your time will come? How difficult is that going to be for coaches across America?
I think it's going to be really tough. And, we're kind of fortunate I've had some of the initial conversations, and not all of our seniors are coming back. You know, we're an equivalency sport, which means that kids get partial scholarships. So, you know, our academic support, Jenny Sanders does an amazing job of keeping our kids on track to graduate. And, you know, some of our seniors have to have their degrees, and as much as they love baseball, you know, I'm not sure that the finances work for everyone to fork out $20,000 just to play baseball when you already have your college degree. So we don't have a bunch of seniors coming back. I think the issue is going to be more dire a couple of years from now. So just to use simple math, if you had 10 freshmen on your team this year and you signed 10 high school kids, next year you're going to have 10 redshirt freshmen and 10 true freshmen. You're going to have 20 kids in one class, and when you can only have 27 kids on scholarship and 35 on your team, you certainly can't have 20 kids in one group. So it's not just a one-year problem. It's going to be an issue to deal with 3 or 4 years down the road.
That's some of the stuff the casual fan doesn't think about, not looking ahead as obviously coaches have to do.
Yeah, and, you know, that's one thing I always talk about is trying to have balance. You want to have left and right-handed hitters. You want to have speed and power. You want to have breaking balls and jobs. You want to have balance among your classes. You want to some degree, have an equal amount of freshmen and sophomores and juniors. And it's hard to accomplish, but it's something that you're always striving towards. And this new rule, which was the right thing to do to give everyone another year, just like everything we're going through right now, for the first time, there's going to be some bumps in the road, and nothing's going to be perfect.
Yeah. Visiting with Brad Bohannon, head baseball coach of the Crimson Tide. So many things went well this past season. What there was of the season, you got a 16-1 record. The offense was hot. Bullpen performance, great fielding percentage. Did you see that coming, Coach, realistically, when you got set to begin the season, getting ready to go in game number 1? Did you realize the potential of this ball club?
You know, Eli, I really did, and I know I was a little understated going into the season. I just didn't feel the need to put any undue expectation, pressure on a group that had so many new players in vital positions. But I knew the talent was there, and what every coach doesn't know going into a season is, you know, how is a freshman going to respond to playing on the road and to having some failure and those types of things. And, you know, I still don't know that about Connor, too. Connor didn't give up a run in 4 college starts, and at some point, I just know that we were going to have to go get him in the 3rd or 4th inning, because that just happens to everyone. So I really wish that we'd had those experiences get in bad, but I'm not surprised that we got off to a good start. I knew that we had a lot of talent. I felt really strong about the intangibles of the group, but you still don't know till you get out there and do it.
Yeah, you don't really know, but it certainly panned out. Another big thing was the return of injured players, in particular Sam Prater. That was, you know, I think folks realize how big that was, but getting a guy like him back in the lineup, you can't overstate how much that meant to the ball club.
Yeah, Sam Prater is just a hell of a player, and, you know, he still doesn't get as much. He's not as appreciated much around the country as he should be. And the other thing Sam's done is he's been through the Southeastern Conference for a year, and that experience is just invaluable. So, you know, you get Prater back as a really fun offensive player at a defensive position who has experience, and now that helps Tyler Gentry when you get Prater hitting behind him, and you put T.J. Reeves and Drew Williamson and around those guys, and mix in a new guy like Owen Diodati, it just makes everybody better.
So as we sit here and talk on the 18th of April, with even if things go correctly, your season doesn't crank up until, 10 months from now. What's next on the agenda for you? What are the front burner items for you and your assistants at this point?
I'm still at the mercy of society. You know, I'm certainly hopeful that at some point this summer the kids on our team get an opportunity to play summer baseball. Obviously, we want the amateur kids to get going so we can get out and evaluate. But, you know, that's all, you know, out of our control. So we'll just kind of hold tight and keep working, recruiting virtually and supporting our kids. And whether it's the summer or the fall before our guys can get going and the high school kids can get going. Whenever they do, we'll get out and start recruiting, and it can't get here soon enough.
Well, listen, always appreciate the chance to sit around and shoot the breeze with you. I wish we were leaning on the batting cage or sitting in the dugout and doing it, but it's great to have you on the show. I appreciate your time, and we look forward to seeing you and getting the world back to normal here before too much longer.
Eli, thank you, and everyone stay safe out there.
All right, Coach, thanks. Brad Bohannon, head coach of the Crimson Tide baseball team. And we're continuing with more. John Parker Wilson and Rashad Johnson are around the corner as you're listening to the Alabama Athletics Spring Update Show on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
I'm Cliff Meidel, two-time Olympic athlete in the sport of sprint kayaking. In 1986, my life changed forever when I struck 3 buried high-voltage cables while working on an excavation site. 30,000 volts of electricity blew through my body. I'm lucky to be alive and able to walk again. Accidents like mine can be avoided with a simple call to 811.
Accidents can happen to anyone. Know what's below. Always call 811 before digging. Brought to you by Alabama 811.
You ever see a stranger and know immediately that they were family?
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Earn your degree from the University of Alabama online and become part of a worldwide family. Through Bama by Distance, you'll feel an instant connection. Our student services will guide you from admission to financial assistance to graduation, helping you whenever you need it. Because that's how you treat family. Visit bamabydistance.ua.edu. That's bamabydistance.ua.edu. And rise with the tide.
Thank you, Alabama fans, for your continued support of Golden Flake potato chips, pork rinds, cheese puffs, and our great-for-dipping tortillas. We are dedicated to making our product available to you and your family now more than ever. So we hope you'll continue to celebrate Alabama championships with your favorite bag of Golden Flake champion chips. Experience the simple Southern goodness of Golden Flake, the official chip of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Your hometown Whataburger drive-thru is open 24/7 as usual. But now, as we all adjust to this new normal, we've also kicked off curbside pickup for online orders from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So instead of walking your order to your table, we'll walk it right out to your car. Just because we can't be close doesn't mean we can't be neighborly. Whataburger.
Heading towards hour number 2 of the Alabama Athletics Spring Update Show. John Parker Wilson, Rashad Johnson, and Coach Nick Saban just around the corner. But first, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Welcome back. John Parker Wilson and Rashad Johnson joining us next. Your phone calls are welcome as we talk Bama football at 877-202-BAMA. This is the Alabama Athletics Spring Update Show on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Is your home begging for help? Squeaking doors and creaking floors? Cracked brick and concrete? Water running in basements and crawl spaces? And how about those smelly, musty odors? Call APS Foundations. Our experts offer solutions to your home's foundation and waterproofing problems with a plan to get back on solid ground. Call now, 866-253-6035 or alabamaprofessional.com.
At Window World of Alabama, their motto is the same as it was when they began in 1995. Provide superior products installed by professional craftsmen at guaranteed low prices. It's no wonder that Window World has grown to become America's largest window replacement company. They take pride not only in the quality of their products, but in the service and care they give you from the start of a job to its completion and beyond. Call Window World of Alabama for your free in-home estimate at 205-916-2189 or visit windowworldalabama.com. Window World, simply the best for less.
In football, a triple threat is a player who can do it all. For barbecue, Dreamland is a triple threat. You can dine in, carry out, or let us cater your next event. For the ultimate tailgating experience, nothing beats a rack of legendary Dreamland ribs with your favorite sides. If you've got a taste for winning, treat your team to Dreamland. There ain't nothing like 'em nowhere. A proud supporter of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Here's to the original social media. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time.
Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. The original social media since 1975. Miller Lite can be enjoyed at any time and is better enjoyed offline, preferably by 3 or more friends at a bar. To experience Miller time, call a buddy right now. In fact, call 2. You can do that by using the numbers next to the hashtag on your phone. We used to call it a £. Once you've called your friends, there's no need to look at your phone, not even to see the time. I'll tell you what time it is. It's Miller time.
Welcome back, everybody. The Alabama Athletics Spring Update Show presented by Alpha Insurance. For the best agents in the business, call Alpha. I'm Eli Gold. Our phones are open to you at 877-202-BAMA. And these two gentlemen, well, I'm glad to be talking to them today. We were going to be together anyway on this April 18th, though the plan had been to gather at Bryant-Denny Stadium for the A-Day game. But nevertheless, John Parker Wilson and Rashad Johnson joining us here on the show. JP, how are you, sir? And I understand that we have lost both gentlemen, so we will busily get them back and have them join us here in just a moment or so. Hey, you know what's coming up on Thursday? The NFL Draft. The 2020 NFL Draft is Thursday night. You know what they're doing? Have you seen where all the teams are going to have folks at their homes making the selections? And Commissioner Goodell is going to be announcing the selections from his basement. He's going to have a camera in his basement, and Commissioner Goodell is going to give, he's going to announce, with the first pick, so on and so forth. He'll do that from his basement. Anyway, the 2020 NFL Draft, AL.com, is going to be taking you inside the lives of former Crimson Tide players as they prepare to make their NFL dreams come true. It's a package called The Road to the Pros. It's a video documentary which will begin with Alabama's Henry Ruggs III, and from those humble beginnings through their trials and tragedies all the way to the moment that they achieve NFL stardom. It's a great documentary by AL.com. Catch this special series and Lauren Sisler's live conversations each week on Facebook at crimsontide.al.com. NFL Draft Road to the Pros. That man has gone through it. Rashad Johnson has. How are you, Rashad? Good to have you on the show. Are you there? There you are.
Rashad, can you hear me?
I got you, JP. All right. Well, they're having a little phone issue back at the studio. But how are you, sir? You've been through all of that as well. There's nothing like anticipating your NFL career, is there?
No, there's really not. You know, a lot is on the lines of these guys coming up here in the next week, and just the haze in the barn, so to speak. And these guys are so much that they're looking forward to, but also so many nerves. And I think the good thing for a lot of our Alabama players in such a good position to have the chance to be drafted extremely high. We've got a chance to break some records here with this draft coming up with some of the offensive guys going to be drafted. So I'm really looking forward to seeing next week how this thing shakes out, and hopefully a lot of our guys find some good homes.
I would hope so. Rashad Johnson, how are you, sir? Welcome into the show.
Doing well, Eli. How about yourself, man?
I am well. We were just talking about leading up to the draft and how AL.com is going to be doing a video documentary starting with Henry Ruggs III this week. And you've been there from a walk-on beginning all the way to stardom in the NFL. I can't imagine what these guys are feeling like this week leading up to Thursday.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a lot of emotions going on right now, anticipation, you're anxious. I heard John Parker say, but the haze, like he said, the haze kind of in the barn in terms of what you can do to raise your draft status. They've kind of done all those things, but there's still that anxiousness because you just don't know, man. You can land up anywhere across the country, you know, from Green Bay to Arizona, from first round to seventh round to undrafted. But, you know, I think what most of these guys should know is that, you know, no matter where you go, if you go first round when you think you should go, or you go third round, or you go undrafted, you know, as long as you get that opportunity, you know, it's what you do with that is what's going to determine it. And I think we got a great group of guys that's going to show well for us.
Exactly. Folks, if you'd like to join the conversation, John Parker and Rashad will be with us until the bottom of the hour. So jump on board at 877-202-BAMA. We're back in a moment on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Okay, forest animals, kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow, have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. River, how's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man.
I love it. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. Okay. Squirrel.
The forest has been preparing just for you. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy, and you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter. Yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Man, do I love card night. You ready, boys? You got a king?
Go, fish, Dad.
Oh, come on. This is WWE superstar Titus O'Neil. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
The Alabama Athletics Spring Update Show continues. Eli Gold with my broadcast partners, John Parker Wilson and Rashad Johnson. Hey, John Parker, how's little Eli Rashad doing?
He's doing great. We call him Peyton. 5 months tomorrow, so he's doing really good, man. He's getting big. He's growing like a weed. So we're all good, you know. With him and his older brother Parks, the 3-year-old, we're getting adjusted to this new normal, and it's been different, and it's been fun for us as a family because I mean this is as bonding time as you can possibly get right now.
Certainly, and you work in the financial world as your real job. I assume all of that is able to be done from home with the help of laptops and desktop computers.
No question. We've got 90% of our workforce right now working from home in our company. So everybody's remoting in, and it's actually been working pretty well. I think the technology for us is definitely there, and just like we had a problem with the call starting off, right? I think it's become more acceptable, and knowing that it's not going to be perfect every time you do it, but we're going to all get through it together. And I think that's the thing that I've sensed is just the community and camaraderie of everybody getting behind each other.
Rashad, how about you? How is the family, and how have you found working on that Zoom app connecting with Coach Saban?
It's been well. You know, my family's doing well. Everyone's healthy. My little girl is, antsy as ever to get outside and go play in the playground so much.
Sure.
Daddy had to get a swing set put in the backyard so she could get outside and not, go stir crazy. But it's been great. Like John Parker said, no better time to bond with your family than now. I've loved that. And then, like, the Zoom calls, it's been fun. Zoom, I've already had an email well before now, unlike Coach. He just got his email.
Right.
I've had one for quite some time. But the Zoom calls are good. Just an opportunity to get face-to-face as much as you can through technology, to talk through things and get the job done. So it's just adapting to the new norm. You're recruiting that way. I get an opportunity to talk to some recruits through the Zooms or FaceTimes. So it's really fun. A little different, for I guess probably for the older generation. But, I mean, for me, I've enjoyed every bit of it.
Well, the older generation is still very young at heart. I got news for you. So, so everybody's in this together. Hey,
no shots fired.
I hear you. Let's talk about this coming football season. And again, as you might have heard when we were talking with Greg Byrne, who knows when it will be played. Lord willing, it'll be played as scheduled. But Alabama, at this time of the year, everybody always looks and says, oh, my God, this guy's gone, this guy's gone, this guy's gone, this guy's gone. How about this guy is back? Najee Harris, Brian Robinson, Trey Sanders, Keelan Robinson, not to mention some other young players. When Mac Jones or whomever is under center looks to hand off the football, John Parker, there's no lack of talent to hand it to, nor is there a lack of talent to throw it to.
No, it's so funny you just said that, because that was one of the things I had in my notes was we've got some guys departing, and we're going to have to do that every year. Coach Saban's used to it. But the guys who chose to come back, that had the ability to go to the draft, guys like Najee, Devontae Smith, they chose to come back. And we got some guys, some underclassmen, too, that didn't have that ability. But I think we lost a lot on offense. And we talked earlier about we got a chance to set a record, I think the first time in 50 years it would be if we had 4 offensive players drafted in the first round. So there's a chance that happens. But there's a chance that happens again next year, because so many guys have come back. Not just the skilled guys like Najee, Brian Robinson handed off to, Trey Sanders was hurt, Devontae and Jalen Waddle both had massive years last year, along with the 2 other receivers that departed. But then, you look up front. There's so many guys coming back at the offensive line. Alex Leatherwood, Landon Dickerson, Evan Neal, Deontay Brown. To me, this is as exciting as an offense that I've seen, maybe in a long time, just because the quality guys, quality skills that we get coming back.
And, of course, Rashad, from your standpoint as a defensive back, we were mentioning Tay Smith, Jalen Waddle, Slade Bolden can catch the ball, John Mechie, Terrell Shavers, Xavier Williams, Chadarius Townsend. We've seen Steve Sarkisian like to throw the ball to Miller Forrestall and Major Tennyson, and there's Jaleel Billingsley. DBs are not going to have an easy time defending Bama down the field.
Oh, not at all. I mean, like you said, with that receiving core, the depth that we have, and, Jerry Judy's special talent, Henry Ruggs, special talent. But like you said, some of those guys you named there have their own special skill set, and Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith coming back. We've named a slew of guys offensively, and it's going to cause, opposing defenses a lot of trouble, just like it did last year, with the way Steve Sarkisian calls the game and uses his entire tool belt. But one thing that, we haven't mentioned is the defensive side, and then these guys that are coming back. Dylan Moses, the center of that defensive core, chose to come back. Josh McMillan, getting awarded, a medical red shirt. Now we got a senior coming back in the middle of our 2 guys that have played a lot of football, coming back in the center of our defense, being able to line guys up, being able to be that heartbeat, and then Shane Lee and Christian Harris being able to grow and watch these guys do it, I think is going to be phenomenal as well. And we lost some guys in our secondary. Avery Mckinney, I think, is a guy that it's going to be very tough to replace. He just isn't a guy you can pick and say someone can replace him. But I look for Patrick Surtain to be, that special guy that he's been since a freshman. Him being a junior, the face of that kind of secondary, it's his time. And he's been showing it all, throughout these past 2 years that he's going to dominate again this year. So I'm excited to watch him grow into his own.
And we saw a lot of quarterbacks try to pick on Josh Jobe last year, the kid from Miami, and he ends up, in my mind, being one of the unsung heroes on the ball club.
Oh, yeah, definitely, no doubt about it. Josh Jobe did a great job all season. He has a skill set, has the talent to play, but he was just in a tough situation. Trayvon Diggs is a special talent. He's going to get his name called in the first or second round, and then you got Patrick Surtain, who's probably going to be in the first rounder. So you're having to wait your turn. And, he did a great job of being a great special teamer for us all season. And then when his number was called in the Michigan game, with Trayvon electing to pursue the draft, he did a great job of stepping in. They challenged him early and often in that game, and I thought he played very well.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to watching him, like you said, grow and be that other dominant corner, because he's going to get a lot of targets away from Patrick for sure.
We're going to come right back. We're going to continue with Rashad Johnson and John Parker Wilson. We're going to open up the phone lines to you at 877-202-BAMA. That's 877-202-BAMA. And don't forget, Coach Nick Saban joining us right near the bottom of the hour. All of that coming up as you're listening to the Alabama Athletics Spring Update Show here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Tweens have mastered the art of tuning out. Jen, there's a spider in the car. We're turning your room into a home gym. See? Nothing. But some messages need to get through. Like making sure they're buckled up the whole ride, every time. Do whatever it takes to make your child listen. Jen, I friended your boyfriend.
Wait, what?
Buckle up, sweetie.
Never give up until they buckle up. Learn more at safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
To buy your home, you became a house hunting ace, learned about loans, scoured neighborhoods, and asked the right questions. Now you're queen of your castle. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll feel empowered to own your retirement like you own your home. Go to aceyourretirement.org, because when it comes to clearing financial hurdles, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Whoa, long time no see. It's me, the Rock t-shirt in the back of your closet. Dude, remember? You crowd surfed in me, man. But you haven't worn me in like forever. I get it, you're retired, but I still got some rock left in me. So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff, create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
I wasn't prepared to be a caregiver to Mom. I had no idea how hard it would be and what I would need to know. Things I never thought of, like how to improve her mood and ways for me to stay positive. Luckily, I found the Caregiving Resource Center from AARP. It had articles about the basics, but also information about the hurdles I was facing.
Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving. Articles, tips, and tools to help you both care for your loved one and care for yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Welcome back, everybody. Hey, listen, right after our show today at 3 o'clock this afternoon, the Paul W. Bryant Museum's Facebook page is going to be airing Mama Called. It's that great documentary. You may have seen it in the past, a great documentary that takes an in-depth look into Coach Bryant's legendary career. So be sure to tune in. It's Mama Called, starting in just about 40 minutes from now on the Paul W. Bryant Museum's Facebook page. Eli Gold with John Parker Wilson and Rashad Johnson today taking your calls. Let's go back to the phones, and a gentleman who opened up the conversation earlier this afternoon is back with us again. Pee Wee in Grand Bay. Welcome again, sir.
Well, thank you, Coach, or might as well say Coach Eli. I was going to ask Rashad, normally I'm all about the offensive line, but I'm going to ask a little defense today. Just wondering, with the group of players that we've got back and the injury guys that we have back that you mentioned earlier, what do you see the strength of this defense could possibly be this year, whether it's run coverage, vertical coverage, or just overall defensive back play? Where do you see our main strength being at?
I think the biggest thing for us, when you go back and look at things, watching film, there was a few times where you just saw some misalignment, some busted assignments and things of that nature, and some guys have talked about it, some coaches have talked about it, and I think the biggest growth point we're going to have is having those two veteran guys back in the middle right there, being able to be that vocal communication. But when you talk about what our our staple is going to be, we're going to be strong up front. I think we're going to be able to stop the run. I think Christian Barmore, a player who emerged massively at the end of the season with his violent play, his pursuit to the ball, he's going to be a guy that's going to be a staple, that's going to get a lot more snaps now that Raekwon Davis has moved on to the NFL draft. And I think a guy like DJ Dale came in as a freshman, was starting for us, just never was able to catch his footing because of, injuries, and continuing to battle that all season. I think he's going to be a massive force for us up front as well, in that front line. So now you've got, these four staple guys in the center of your defense is going to be able to really solidify that run game and make teams one-dimensional. And then at that point, we're going to grow up on the back end with Josh Jobe, Patrick Surtain, probably Jordan Battle, and we don't know about everything else. It kind of just goes up in the air. I'm just throwing some things out there, just based on last year watching film. So but I think we're going to be really solid in the run and forcing teams to be one-dimensional, and we'll see where we be in the pass game.
And, John Parker, the way Rashad was talking, you can look at it from a quarterback standpoint. You got LeBrian Ray, Christian Barmore, Byron Young, Phil Mathis, Justin Aboigbe, DJ Dale, Stephon Wynn, Ishmael Sopsher, who only played one game last year, but he's a hoss. If you're a QB seeing that group across the line from you, you want to be in another stadium.
Exactly. Hey, I'd be talking to the offensive coordinator saying, hey, we need to make sure we keep the tight end and the running back in on every play for extra pass protectors, because the now experience. So last year we were an inexperienced defense. That's going to turn into having some guys that have got a lot of reps last year that know how their body works. Some younger guys are going to have some good things to rely on moving forward. And with the defensive line like you just named, what it really does is if you can rush the passer with just four guys and let the seven remaining defenders drop into coverage, it's really, really hard to throw in when you only have four guys rushing, because that dictates the timing, and you get an extra safety or an extra nickel guy in downfield. It just makes the passing game that much more difficult. So if you can stop the run with only four guys and then rush the passer, this is going to be a good defense. Another thing I look to experience is coaching staff returning, right? We got a lot of coaches coming back, and I think if Coach Saban ever picked the time to have all the coaches returned with all this layoffs, this is the perfect timing, because we've got the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and most all the coaching staff back.
And, of course, on the return game, you've still got Brian Robinson and Jalen Waddle back there. You'll have Keelan Robinson. You can always put Najee Harris back there. So there's a lot coming back, folks, as we look towards this coming season. We've got more with John Parker and Rashad Johnson right after this on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Jerry Pate Company is the premier provider of outdoor beautification products in the South and is committed to quality service and exceptional customer care. With facilities in Pensacola, Atlanta, Birmingham, and Memphis, along with a sales and service team in the field, Jerry Pate Company puts the customer first by providing the finest quality of products and unmatched service in the industry. Visit us today at jerrypate.com. The Jerry Pate Company is a proud partner of the Crimson Tide.
Roll Tide, show your pride on game day and every day with the Bama Credit Card, official card of the Alabama Alumni Association. Brought to you by Alabama Credit Union, the Bama Card is packed with perks like cashback rewards, plus low rates, no annual fee, and Crimson Tough security. Head now to RollTideCard.com to apply for your Bama Credit Card and feel good about your money. Some restrictions apply. Visit RollTideCard.com for details. Alabama Credit Union, equal opportunity lender. Thank you, Alabama fans, for your continued support of Golden Flake potato chips, pork rinds, cheese puffs, and our great-for-dipping tortillas. We are dedicated to making our product available to you and your family now more than ever. So we hope you'll continue to celebrate Alabama championships with your favorite bag of Golden Flake champion chips. Experience the simple Southern goodness of Golden Flake, the official chip of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
You ever see a stranger and know immediately that they were family?
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Earn your degree from the University of Alabama online and become part of a worldwide family. Through Bama by Distance, you'll feel an instant connection. Our student services will guide you from admission to financial assistance to graduation, helping you whenever you need it. Because that's how you treat family. Visit bamabydistance.ua.edu. That's bamabydistance.ua.edu. And rise with the tide.
Today's Spring Update show for the University of Alabama is presented by Alpha Insurance. For auto, home, and life insurance, call Alpha. Visiting with Rashad Johnson and John Parker Wilson, my broadcast partners on the network. Rashad, you had asked me to participate in an event along with Greg Byrne and many others that unfortunately had to be canceled because of the social distancing. It may be reborn online as part of a Zoom project, but tell the folks about what you do, what some of your responsibilities are in helping out the student athletes, because I thought it was very interesting when you asked me and Greg Byrne to participate in this event.
Well, basically what we're trying to do is teach these guys to understand that there is life outside of the game and begin to, tickle some things that they've already kind of decided that they wanted to go down that route, whether it's media broadcast, whether it's finance, whether it's marketing. These guys, they've picked majors, they've picked degrees. So for me, I try and bring different professionals who have transitioned and now are successful at the level, like yourself in broadcasting, to bring you in to begin to talk about, what it takes to actually achieve that goal. What would you do if you were a college student right now sitting in their seats to begin to start that route? And John Parker was willing enough. He came in and talked on the financial side of things and was able to share, his route as a guy who sat in those seats. So we try and keep it as Alabama and former guys and close to the family as possible because it resonates with the guys. The more that they can see that guys are sat in their seats, have transitioned to life after football and whatever profession that may be, to give them some type of hope and some type of idea to begin to start thinking about it. Because, we just get caught up in the idea that we're all going to play in the NFL, we're all going to make $60, $80 million. Even if you do, 30, 31, 32 years old, what are you going to do next? Do you want to invest that in real estate? How do you want to handle your finances? So just bringing different professionals and giving them opportunity to grow, outside of the game. We do so many great things on the field. Coach Saban and everyone does a lot of great things off the field. I just am lucky enough to, to be able to have a small hand in it as well.
And John Parker, how did you get to be so adept at the financial world and to the point where you're comfortable managing other people's money? I mean, I would think I'd rather look at a snarling bunch of defensive linemen than be responsible with somebody else's money.
Yeah. Sometimes you're right. But, I think being at a place like Alabama and being under a coach and a mentor and a leader like Coach Saban, you learn things that go beyond the game of football. And sure, they might be at the time related to just football or just going to class or doing this, but it really relates, and you can relate it to any career, anything you want to do, whether it's business, whether it's, with your family, no matter friendships, no matter what, the lessons that we learn while we're at Alabama and team sports under Coach Saban can last your lifetime. It just depends on if that player and that individual wants to pick it up and use it or not. And I think that's what Rashad is doing such a good job right now, spearheading the effort of, hey, let's turn these guys into men after football, no matter what. No matter if you're Julio Jones and you're going to play until you don't want to play anymore, or you don't play at all. There's a lot of tools we're equipping these guys. So a lot of sports and nutrition, but also an academic facility, and now life after football. It's really, really unique what Rashad is doing, and I love to see the program growing and getting bigger and bigger every day.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask you, Rashad, to tell what goes on behind the scenes, and I am going to talk about it with Coach Saban here in a couple minutes. But these Zoom deals, this app where you have everybody on their computer from house, and there you see, 20 people on the screen. How productive in general terms have those meetings been?
Very productive. I mean, if you know anything about this program and what it stands for, it's about efficiency. It's very productive. It's not wasted time. We're talking about the things that need to be talked about, whether it's the beginning of staff. It's the same thing with the players. We're able to go through the playbook and have those same type of meetings with those guys as well. So it's very productive. and you just make sure you know what you're going in there to talk about, and we get the things done, and then from there we begin to work back at home. So it's been very productive.
Well, listen, I'm going to talk more with the coach here in a moment or so, but I wish you the very best, Rashad, and you too, JP, and hopefully we'll all be together before too much longer at the stadium. And, Rashad, you take care and take care of that great family of yours.
Will too. Do the same, Eli. Same thing, John Parker.
John Parker Wilson. You guys, you take care of yourself and enjoy that baby. I mean, it's nobody wants to be home, but if you got to be, it's nice to be able to bond with the family.
No question. This morning, so it was supposed to be 8A for everybody. I'm teaching both the young guys Sweet Home Alabama, teaching them the words, teaching them the Roll Tide rolls at the right time. So we'll be ready for when season comes back. Also,
you got it. Take care, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. John Parker Wilson and Rashad Johnson. I thank both of them for joining us. And before the coach joins us, I want to remind you again that at 3 o'clock today, about 28 minutes from now, right after our show wraps up, the Paul W. Bryant Museum's Facebook page is going to be airing Mama Called, the documentary that takes an in-depth look into Coach Bryant's legendary career. So be sure to turn in and tune in. That's Mama Called, starting in just about 28 minutes from now on the Paul W. Bryant Museum's Facebook page. When we return, Coach Nick Saban is here. Should be interesting to hear what he has to say. That follows these messages on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Golden Triangle Regional Airport in Columbus, Mississippi is proud to be a partner with University of Alabama Athletics. During this trying time, we hope Crimson Tide fans are following proper social distancing protocol to ensure a return to normal activities very soon. When the time comes and it's safe to travel again, we hope you'll consider Golden Triangle Regional Airport as your hub to access the world. For more information, check us out at gtra.com. Stay healthy and roll Tide.
What happens when a healthcare system truly listens? Healing happens. Hope happens. Good health happens. At Ascension, we know. Because we listen to you to better understand you. Then, our network of doctors, nurses, and care teams at St. Vincent's Health System deliver a personalized healthcare experience that's right for you and your family. Find the care you need at ascension.org/Alabama.
In football, a triple threat is a player who can do it all. For barbecue, Dreamland is a triple threat. You can dine in, carry out, or let us cater your next event. For the ultimate tailgating experience, nothing beats a rack of legendary Dreamland ribs with your favorite sides. If you've got a taste for winning, treat your team to Dreamland. There ain't nothing like 'em nowhere. A proud supporter of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Have you priced a new John Deere tractor lately? SunSouth John Deere has a full line of affordable lawn and tractor equipment this season. SunSouth John Deere has an affordable roster for everyone, from riding mowers to utility vehicles and lots of tractors. Stop by any of the 21 locations across Alabama, Mississippi, and Georgia, or visit sunsouth.com to find out what is right for you. Any budget, any project. SunSouth has you covered. Proud to be the preferred tractor equipment dealer of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Welcome back, everybody, as we continue on the Alabama Athletics Spring Update Show. I'm Eli Gold, and time now for us to sit down and spend time with the Crimson Tide's head football coach, Nick Saban. Our visit with the coach being presented by Alpha Insurance for auto, home, and life insurance. Call Alpha. Coach, how you doing? Long time no see, long time no talk. What's going on?
Oh, we're doing like everybody else, just trying to stay safe, and would encourage everybody else to do the same. I know that this social distancing, staying at home, are all things that are a little unusual and create a lot of uncertainty for us, but I think it is the best way to proceed for the moment.
You know, it's funny, somebody sent me one of those little editorial cartoons the other day, and they said, I was sitting there in my lazy boy, and I look over, and there's this blonde sitting on my sofa. turns out she's my wife. She's a nice lady. It's like that. We're home and having a chance to reconnect with everybody.
Yeah, there's no question about that. It's, I mean, the holiday was tough. I mean,
yeah.
Easter, not really, having family, that was a little different, and I think it was a little different for all of us. So, but I think that if you can stay focused on what you can control and what you can do right in front of you and keep trying to do the right things and keep from doing the wrong things, I think that's probably the best that we can do to come out of this, better off in the end.
Yeah. What is a normal day now like for you? Because it's been well documented. You hate sitting around, and that's not your style. What's a normal day like for you?
Well, we've been staying busy. I mean, I'm a level 1 employee, so I think there's about 3 of those in the whole Mile More building. So there's about 3 of us that actually come in here. But I come in every day until noon, and we have a Zoom at 7:30 in the morning with staff and, kind of organize what we're going to do for that day. And most of it has been threefold. A, we work on next year's opponents. B, we have an hour-long session Monday through Thursday with our players, so we organize, what we're going to do in that. And then, we're constantly working on recruiting evaluations and organization of, who's going to talk to what recruits. And, I do a lot of, Zoom video conferences with recruits and their families, mostly late in the afternoon and early evening. So it stays pretty busy through the week. On the weekends, of course, we don't have anything. So we've been, kind of, staying at home and trying to stay safe. But
I know
the normal day is busy,
yeah.
Which I still enjoy. And, you just can't have, staff meetings on Zoom. It's not with everybody sitting in a room.
Yeah, it's not the same. You have those 4 hours of meeting time with the players. I don't want you to give away exactly what you do. That's proprietary. But is it difficult to keep everybody's attention when dealing in a video setting with the players?
No, they've been great. I mean, the players have been really, really good. They have their attention has been good. We always check on their well-being, their family's well-being, and then we are also very cognizant of academics. We've got a good plan for every player, and want to make sure they do their stuff in a timely fashion. And then we probably spend about 55 minutes of that on organized install. And we've probably been doing this now for 10 or 12 days, and we're probably, somewhere between day 4 and day 5 of what we do in spring practice, because we can take everything really, really slow, show a lot of examples, show a lot of, teaching progression examples from practice and things like that. So it's really been good. I mean, the players have been really, really good. We actually had a team meeting on Zoom yesterday with me. I sit in a different meeting every day, so I can kind of, see, the different players at every position, because you don't see them every day. So I think they look forward to it. I think it keeps them connected, and I think it gives them something to look forward to. So we try to emphasize with the players, routine is really important in something like this. When are you doing your schoolwork? When are you working out? When are you having your 2 o'clock every day sort of, Zoom position meeting. So, and they've been good. It's worked out as well as can be expected.
Wonderful. We're visiting with Coach Nick Saban, of course. This is the Alabama Athletics Spring Update Show. I'm Eli Gold. Coach, just before all of this started, this new normal, if you will, you announced the hiring of the Crimson Tide's Director of Sports Performance and the Director of Performance Science, David Ballou and Dr. Matt Ray. How did you first hear about those gentlemen? Because the casual fan, the run-of-the-mill fan, I'd probably never heard of them. When did they first get on your radar?
Well, 4 or 5 years ago, these guys were at IMG. Right. Actually, when some of our 4th and 5th year players were at IMG, and I heard a lot about some of the, sort of state-of-the-art sports science stuff that they were actually into and doing there, just when you'd visit in recruiting or whatever, and never really thought much about it. And then when we had this opportunity, come up, we researched these guys, and, they'd done a phenomenal job at Notre Dame of eliminating injuries by something like 50%, and even better at Indiana. So when they came in and we interviewed them, I mean, there was no question that from a sports science standpoint and from a conditioning standpoint, they were like light years, in advance of what a lot of people have, done in their programs for a long, long time, which we've done the same thing for a long, long time too. And we'd actually brought in some NFL people at the end of the season because we were wondering if there was something that we could do to improve performance and injury prevention, because we seemed like we'd gotten a lot of guys hurt, this past season. So we were already going down this path. So then when these guys came on board, everybody else we interviewed was pretty much like a strength coach of the past, and these guys were really way advanced in terms of some of the things that they did to prevent injuries, some of the training programs that they had, velocity training, explosive movements, just, really, really excited to have them here in the program. The players love them. They've done a phenomenal job in transition, and I think long-term this is going to be a real asset for us.
I'm not going to ask what they're already doing. That's proprietary information. But in general, how do their roles differ? Because, again, the titles of Director of Sports Performance and Director of Performance Science may be lost on our casual listener. How will their roles differ?
Well, we have the Sports Science Center now, but I think there's a lot of things now that people have researched that contribute to performance. For example, Dr. Ray, has an 8-point sort of, whether it's sleep, nutrition, and 6 other things that contribute to your level of performance. And he can actually show players on graphs by testing that if you're 100% in all these areas and you sleep 8 hours, you're still going to be 100%. And if you're 100% in all these areas and you sleep 6 hours, your performance is going to drop 20%. He can show players that if you do a vertical jump and a standing broad jump and one of the lower body tests, and I can get you to rehab yourself up to a certain level, you're going to significantly reduce your chances of getting an ACL. So these are the kind of things that he does. David, they sort of manage the training programs. When I say manage, I'm talking about what we're going to do together, and then David sort of implements it. But, instead of these guys actually running drills, like when we were doing off-season program, they actually observe drills, and they make notes on what players need to do what to improve their performance. So this is a completely different level of, how you go about training high-performance, players. And I think it's something that we needed and certainly welcome.
Interesting. Visiting with Coach Nick Saban, of course, on the Alabama Athletics Spring Update Show. Coach, when campus activities resume, Lord willing, they will before too long, without any formal spring practice, which is very much a vital part of anybody's program, you've been a proponent of what I'm going to compare to the OTAs, the optional team activities that you have in the NFL. In general terms, without giving away your plans, what will be primary of importance when everybody does eventually get back to campus? How will those practices, if you will, work?
Well, first of all, player safety's got to be the number one issue, especially in the environment that we're in right now. So to be able to have some kind of testing program in place and protocol for, even if we were able to come back, this is not just going to go away like completely. So, that would be the number one priority, to have a protocol in place that everybody can stay safe. And, secondly, we're not really typically allowed to work with the players on the field in the summertime. Strength and conditioning coaches can do strength and conditioning type programs, but now, of course, the NCAA and other people will have to determine what they allow us to do. But if we were allowed to do something, I've been, 8 years in the NFL working in shorts and T-shirts. You can get a lot of stuff done in terms of teaching, whether it's technique or, you can do 7-on-7. You can do a lot of things that you can teach a lot of football. And I think if fall camp's coming up in August, it's not a time to be clanging people around with pads and helmets and tackling and all that. So our goal would be to be able to systematically teach our systems to our players and the techniques that go with it, minus the contact.
Interesting. Let's talk a little football. Are you excited about watching the draft on Thursday, like all of us sitting in front of the tube and seeing it in a virtual nature?
There's no question about it. I'm always excited, basically for our players is what excites me the most, because, these guys have all done a phenomenal job for us in terms of how they've represented the University of Alabama and how they've contributed to the success of the program. And I know it's kind of their lifelong dream to, have this opportunity to play in the NFL. So I know it's an exciting time for them, and it's an exciting time for us to be able to, sort of see that come to fruition for a lot of them. And, we certainly wish everybody, the best of luck in that endeavor. And I think we have, maybe 4 or 5 guys who might get drafted in the first round, and I'm hopeful that they all do.
Definitely. So it's sad you're not going to be able to be there. I know they always light up when they see you there in the green room backstage waiting for their name to be called. That's going to it's going to be unfair, but it is the way it is, huh?
It is what it is, and I hate it myself because I really like to, share that moment with the players and their families. Brings back a lot of memories for me of, when I see their family, I'm saying, hey, it just seemed like yesterday we were having a home visit trying to convince you to come to Alabama, and now you're, here ready to get drafted. So, but those relationships are something that make it special, in coaching, and not to be able to share, some of those things is going to be a little more difficult, but we'll certainly be there in spirit, and I think all the players know that.
Definitely. Hey, I want to ask you about one of our guys who really has been an outstanding player, Jedrek Wills, who will likely, hopefully, go in the first round on Thursday. I've been reading a lot of articles about teams that might want to use him on the left side of the line. How difficult is that for a guy who's played on one side to just move and relearn things for the other side? Is that easy to do, and can Jedrek do that?
Well, I think he's got all the physical tools and physical abilities to do that. I think it's a comfort level for every player. Some people feel more comfortable in a right-handed stance, especially if that's how they played for many, many years, which Jedrek played right tackle in high school too. And it was always best for us to play him at right because Tua was left-handed, so that was like our left tackle. So I do think he has all the physical attributes, the athleticism, to be the kind of pass blocker you need to be on that side of the line. But, I don't know how he'll transition to it. I don't know how nobody kind of knows how anybody will, but I just know he's capable, he's smart enough, and I think it'll just be, him sort of getting enough repetitions that he develops a comfort zone.
And, of course, just in general terms, when the season resumes, so many guys really improved last year. I'm sure you're like the Bama fans. Without those injuries that we had to deal with, everybody's really looking forward to this coming season.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to it. We were disappointed in some of the outcomes that we got last year, but we also had a lot of adversity to overcome, and I think those were probably good lessons for a lot of people on our team and in our organization to grow and develop from. And we got a lot of good young players that we were looking forward to seeing develop in spring practice, and hopefully we'll get the opportunity for that to happen, here in the summer and in the fall. So we're excited about it. And I will say that this team was on track to doing things really, really well. Off-season program went really well. Academics went really well. This is probably the fewest number of points, which, certainly points to an accountability and discipline factor, off the field when people do the right things. That usually carries over on the field. So we were excited about that. And, we'll just continue to do the best we can in the circumstance that we're in. And if people continue to do what they're supposed to do and not do the things that they're not supposed to do, which is discipline, and it's a discipline that you have to have that becomes a part of your character because you have to do it when nobody's looking over your shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
You got to kind of do it on your own in the situation that we're in right now. I think you end up coming out better at the other end, and the teams that do that probably, will emerge and have a chance to be more successful.
And, Coach, as we wrap it up today, very much like they do on our regular Thursday night gatherings during the season, our friends at Mercedes-Benz have been kind enough to sponsor your final word. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. What do you want to leave us with as far as the thought for the day?
Well, I think this is a different time. We don't have a football game to get excited about. But, we do have a lot of loved ones and a lot of relationships to be, concerned about. And I think that, all of us doing our part, just like a team. A team is made up of individuals. And you could even say football is an individual sport. But that individual sport is interdependent on everybody on that team doing their job. And I think it's a very similar situation that we're all in right now. It's up to every individual to make the kind of choices and decisions that help us beat this, pandemic that we're, in a fight with. And it's all interdependent on every other individual doing that so that we can do this. So I'd say be a team, do your part, and God bless you, and stay safe. That would be my message of the day.
Amen to that. Listen, our best to Miss Terry and the entire family, and you guys do the same. Be safe and take good care. We'll talk to you soon. I appreciate your time.
Okay. Thanks, Eli. Same to you and your family and all of our fans out there. Stay safe, and God bless you. Thank you.
Coach Nick Saban with us on the Alabama Athletic Spring Update Show here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
All right, everybody in the car. Let's go.
What are we going to do first when we get there, Mom? Go for a hike?
Sure.
What about canoeing? Can we go canoeing, too?
I don't see why.
How long does it take to get to the forest?
It's not that far, sweetie.
Are we there yet?
Yep, we're here.
Already?
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
They say that car crashes happen in slow motion. The reality is that crashes happen fast. There's no time to think and no time to check if your child is in the right car seat. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your kids in the right seat for their age and size? Don't think you know. Know you know. Get more info at safercar.gov/the-right-seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Okay, man. This is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. Cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Show the world that you're tougher than tough. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Is that a faucet running? That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Welcome back, everybody, and a big thank you to Coach Nick Saban. A lot of interesting thoughts right there, and I thought the comments about Jedrek Wills were pretty good, too. You know, everybody's talking, and rightfully so. People talk Tua, they talk, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs III, but Jedrek Wills, a guy who definitely has first-rounder written all over him, and we wish him the very, very best. It will be interesting to see if they keep him on the right side, whoever gets him, or moves him to the left side as the blind side protector for a right-handed quarterback. Don't forget, you can read more about the NFL Draft on AL.com. They have got a big video documentary throughout the week leading up to Thursday night's draft. You can catch the special series and all of Lauren Sisler's interviews with the players online and on Facebook at crimsontide.al.com. And of course, we're all going to be sitting around. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what Roger Goodell's basement looks like. I'm sure it's very nice, and that'll all be coming up on Thursday as Bama could have yet another 4 or more first-round draft picks. That'd be really something to see as the week goes along. But we are about out of time, but I do thank you for spending your Saturday afternoon with us. Wish we were at Bryant-Denny Stadium, but we take what we can get, and we had a great show tonight, or today, I should say. So that's going to do it for the Alabama Athletics Spring Update Show. A big thank you to coaches Nick Saban and Brad Bohannon. We appreciate the time from our Director of Athletics, Greg Byrne. Of course, great visiting with my broadcast partners, John Parker Wilson and Rashad Johnson. Our studio producer was Eric Nichols. Our studio engineer was Tony O'Neill. Folks, we look forward to visiting with you again very shortly as we adjust to the new normal. But remember, one thing is for sure, University of Alabama Athletics and the Crimson Tide Sports Network, we will always be here for you. Take care, stay healthy, stay safe. Until we talk next time, I'm Eli Gold. So long and roll tide.
The Alabama Athletics Spring Update Show has been presented by Alpha Insurance. For auto, home, and life insurance, call Alpha. The preceding has been a Learfield IMG College presentation of the Crimson Tide Sports Network.